Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery here. We get together most weekday mornings at 8 o'clock Central to talk about strategies, tips, techniques, share success stories, and support each of you. We kind of serve two different masters, if you will. First of all, we work with entrepreneurs, small business owners who are looking for capital. And then secondly, we have our distribution partners, which we call our affiliates, who are helping increase market awareness and helping people enroll and getting paid for it. We're going to go back today and look at the 4weekfunding.com website. So when we applied for the grant, it was for a very specific reason. And if this isn't very clear to you, we need to make sure that you understand it. There's almost an unlimited number of people that want business funding. Often they need business funding. They could come from anywhere in the country. They could be male, female, race doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how long they've been in business, but they have a thirst for capital. They need more money. What you and I need to do is to do a better job of building financial literacy and letting people know it does not matter how badly you want or need money. You have to be fundable. You have to be fundable. And for some reason, so many people want to skip that step. It's like if you want to buy a home for you and your family to live in, you have to meet the underwriting criteria. If you want to buy a car, you have to meet the underwriting criteria. Well, when it comes to business funding, it's not a mystery. We have to meet the underwriting criteria. And I don't want to say that the odds are stacked against the typical small business owner, but there are a number of things that lenders are typically looking for that most small business owners don't have. And that's why. That's why we're here together. That's why we're looking at this website. This is what you and I do, is we help educate people what it means to have a fundable business and then help them understand that there's a grant subsidized resource that can help them. So on 4weekfunding.com, we'll scroll down a bit. And of course, there's an introduction, a little intro video, but these four squares describe really two things. What does it take to have a fundable business, and how can you and I help them? Now, we'll talk about pricing. I see Doug's already asking about pricing. We'll talk about pricing in a minute, but because of the grant, there is a deposit, but it's a refundable deposit. So essentially, because of the grant, we're doing all this for free. So first thing we need to remove is from people thinking, well, I don't want to pay for anything to become fundable. We don't have to worry about that. There is a deposit, but it's refundable. But let's talk about what it takes to have a fundable business first, describe how we can help them, and then I think it's an absolute no-brainer. So the curriculum is set up to be 4 weeks long, and they're assigned an advisor, a coach, a mentor, whatever descriptor you want it to use. You don't have to do this. If you're an affiliate, you're just referring in. We take care of all the work. The coaching, the advisor, the mentorship is incredibly important, because we know if participants don't have that and don't participate in the weekly sessions, they're much less likely to complete the curriculum, and they're much less likely to be successful. So throughout the 4-week program, this isn't here's a curriculum, go follow it on your own. We're actually working with them. So let's go week by week and make sure you and I understand what we do and why we do it. So we're going to start out with creating a business plan. And we might ask, well, is that really necessary? I just want funding, right? That's what clients often say. I don't really want a business plan. I just need funding. Well, how are we going to communicate to the lender what you do, how much money you want, and how you're going to use it, which is called the use of funds? And then what an uneducated client will do is they'll just say, let me just tell you. Let me just tell you. No. It's got to be in writing. You're not going to sit down and have some conversation with the funding committee of each lender that we may apply to. We need to have a loan package, which of course comes down here when we're putting it all together. But part of that loan package is, in fact, having a written business plan. Does it have to be elaborate? Does it have to be complicated? No, we make it very simple. We use the same software that SBA advisors use, the same software that I used when I was an SBA advisor. It's great, it's modular. And what I mean by that is when we're starting with a business plan, it's the simplest thing in the world. There's different sections, and the client puts in the information that they know, and they skip anything that they don't know. We can come back to that. So there's no reason that anyone should not be able to work with us and in the first week have a written business plan that has, most importantly, a use of funds. Because just call a spade a spade. It's bullshit to think, oh, I can just go ask for as much money as I can get and I can apply for a loan. No, we have to specify how much funding we want and what we're going to use it for. Now, if the client doesn't have all that thought through, that's okay. We can help them, but you're not going to find a valid reason why a business plan is not incredibly important. Furthermore, in week one, we're going to help them get seed capital. So if we're saying that it takes 4 weeks to become fundable, less than a month, then how in the world are we getting capital in week one? Because we've not gone through the 4 weeks yet. Well, we can certainly get funding offers for the client based upon where they're at now. They can accept them or reject them, no hard inquiries. If clients don't need initial capital, don't want the first tranche, that's fine. But this is specifically what we're going to work with them in week one. Who on the live Zoom today has any questions about week one? If you can type it into the Q&A, because this is why we're here. I need at the end of today's Zoom session that you feel comfortable enough to introduce this. So if you're an affiliate, you can enroll clients, make money, and help people. And we should be able to accomplish that in our 30-minute session today. So we're 25% of the way through our topic, right? We're on week one. Does anyone have questions? All right, so Charles is asking or making comments. So it is cloud-based, so it doesn't matter what type of device they have. We could work off of a phone, but it would be better if they had a computer or an iPad, but it will work off of the phone. They could always go to the library if they needed to use a computer. But we do need to have the business plan in place, and then if they want seed capital, we're going to take care of that in week one. All right, so now we're to week two. Now we're ready to take that plan and go build a business around it. But before we form a new entity, which is referenced here, we're going to provide them a unique business address, not a residential address, not a shared address, not a post office box. Well, why do we do that? Because that's incredibly important to having a fundable business. Now, if they already have an address and they want to use that address, that's fine. And same here, if they already have a business plan that is ready to go, that has a strong use of funds, that's fine. We don't need to redo anything just because it's on the list. But we would look at their current business plan. If they have a current address, that's fine. If not, we provide one. What does it cost? It's free. We provide the address for free. We help them with the business plan for free. And once we have the plan and the address, then we can go ahead and file with the Secretary of State. Well, who pays for that? The grant does. There's no cost to the participant. So we'll file with the Secretary of State. So now we have a plan. We have some initial working capital or seed capital. We have a good address, and we formed our entity. We're off to a great start. So you might say, well, why don't we just go to funding if it's so great? Well, we're not done yet. There's other elements that need to be in place, and that's why it's a 4-week plan, not a 2-week plan. So let's get down to week 3. I'm sometimes somewhere between surprised and concerned when I talk to so many clients and we talk about balance sheets and collateral, and it's like deer in the headlights. So that's okay. It just means that you and I have to put a little extra education into the conversation. Because what does it take to be fundable? We need to have collateral to pledge for the loan. Just like when you buy a home, you pledge the deed to the home, and if you don't pay, they foreclose on the home. When you get a car loan, you pledge the car title as collateral, and if you don't pay for the car payments, then they're going to repossess it. Well, when it comes to a business, we're rarely finding businesses have adequate collateral. How would we know what collateral they have? We would look at their balance sheet, and the balance sheet is going to show the assets and liabilities of the business. Now, someone that's not quite as financial literate as you and I would say, well, wait, that doesn't make sense. We just formed the entity last week. How in the world could we possibly have assets already? We should have assets already, because assets are things that the business owns. So we've created the entity, we've created the EIN, and we should also open a bank account. Not specifically stated here, it's implied, but we need to open a business bank account. So the money that we put into the business bank account is an example of an asset that would be on the balance sheet. Well, in general, when we go for loans, lenders are going to look to see if we have enough collateral for the amount of the loan. Well, it's very rare that you're going to have a client that comes into the system, gets their entity, gets their EIN, and puts as much cash into their business bank account as they want a loan, because frankly, then they wouldn't need a loan. So we need to find other creative legal ways to get collateral on the balance sheet. So that's part of what we included when we applied for the grant. So it's included in the program, is we literally transfer receivables, accounts receivables. And again, I'm somewhere between concerned and shocked by how many small business owners have never heard of accounts receivables. I was talking to a gentleman yesterday. He's, I believe, 73 years old, so lots of experience, which is great. And we were talking about this, and I got to receivables, and it was like a blank look. And I said, have you never owned a business where someone owed you money? That's called an accounts receivable. Well, he is in the dart industry. Didn't know there was a big industry for darts, but he said, no, everybody pays in advance. So regardless, accounts receivable means money that your business is owed, and that is considered an asset. If it's owed within the first 12 months, then it's considered a current asset, and that is shown as such on the balance sheet. So what are we going to do? We're going to literally transfer 10,000 of receivables over, gives them collateral, and then we can even help them liquidate those receivables if they would like. But otherwise, now we have assets on the balance sheet. That takes us to week 4. Now it's time to pull everything together. So we're pulling together the business plan, the financials, like the balance sheet, the profit and loss. Now, again, you might say, well, this is a brand new business. It's not going to have a profit and loss. Well, it may be that we've not had any income yet, but we still want to be able to prepare our financials, even if we're pre-revenue, to show the lender that we're organized, we're competent enough to manage our money. Because think about what these clients are asking. These clients are asking to borrow lots and lots of money from a lender. The lender needs to be confident that the borrower is sophisticated enough to manage the money and hopefully pay it back. So the loan packaging is putting everything together for business loan approval. And I know when I worked at the SBA, loan packaging was part of what we did there, but also I know that some of the SBA advisors, Shirley, for example, she was there at the SBA before I started working. She had to wait about 2 years to get SBA approval, so it wasn't a conflict of interest. But she just did this for businesses, and she charged $5,000 to $10,000 just for this. So to say that this program here, it's essentially free. There's a $1,000 refundable deposit that the client pays. You're paid out of that if you referred them in, and then they get that back after they complete funding. You might say, funding? We didn't talk about funding. Okay, well, that's the next step. We don't require clients to go through funding. Well, why is that? Isn't that the whole point? Well, we separate it as a separate step. The reason being, we're getting lots of referrals from loan brokers, lenders, and others in the lending space. where they send us their declines to help their declined clients become fundable by going through the 4-week curriculum. Then we send the client back to them for funding. But that's not the case if you're an affiliate and you're generating your own leads. We've shown you, or you should know, how to use Google ads, to use Facebook marketing. There's so many ways to generate clients, because you don't have to create the need for funding. You just need to have the awareness that you have a solution. But the bottom line is, if the client wants us to help them apply and get funding, then we will. And so we have invested a ton of money into some technology called our Lender Match AI technology. And what this does is it takes the mitigating circumstances of the client based upon all the variables collected here to point to the right lender, so we can help them get funded. At the bottom of the page is just simply a synopsis of what's included. And frankly, it's pretty much a checklist that you could, let's say you're talking to a prospect. If you're an affiliate, you could ask them, are you looking for money to start or grow a business? Often they'll say yes. And then you would probably quickly follow up. Oh, okay, Gilbert or Jeanette or Jeff or Michael, do you have a fundable business? And then you stop talking for a moment. What I found interesting, in most cases, they'll respond, yes, yes. But they'll answer that without knowing what the definition of fundable is. And so they'll say whatever they want to say, and then you can just politely follow up. You could say, well, there's a number of items that business lenders are normally looking for, such as a complete business plan with the detailed uses of funds, which is up here in week 1, making sure that you have adequate capital on hand so you don't look insolvent. We provide that. Making sure that you have a good, unique business address. It's not a post office box, not a shared address. Making sure your entity is in good standing with the state and federal government. Making sure that you have assets on your balance sheet to pledge as collateral, and then everything packaged together. So, prospect, do you have all those things in place? And I promise you, if you have that discussion with most prospects, very few will have all of that in place. And in fact, most of them will have little to none of that in place. But we can help them. You and I can help them. So even if they have half these items, they still need the other half, because this isn't like sweetener in iced tea, where you put a little bit in and it tastes a little sweeter, but you put a couple more packets in and then it's really sweet, but you could drink it maybe either way. If we don't meet the underwriting criteria, it's a no. So it's a yes or no. And you and I can help these clients become a yes based upon having a fundable business. So what I want to do now is open it up to you. We're going to use the Q&A. It's like a chat box of Zoom. We've got a big crowd, 419 of you on today. What questions do you have? Well, what is it that you need to know, either as a prospective participant in the 4-week business funding program or as a distribution partner? What are you missing? All right, Eric asked about the cost again. So we could say all kinds of skillful, creative marketing spins on how much it's worth. But I mean, we know it's worth at least $10,000 because we're giving them $10,000. But regardless, with the grant allocation, the participant is paying $1,000 and it's a refundable deposit. And so with that, you're getting paid. We're assisting the client with those 4 steps, 4 weekly steps. And then if they would like, then we can go to funding. And if they want to go to funding, we'll guarantee funding. We'll promise, we'll guarantee funding, but we don't include this in just the 4-week curriculum for the reason I stated. Sometimes we're getting referrals from loan brokers that just frankly don't want us to do the funding. They just want us to get clients fundable to go back to them. So if they do decide to use us for funding, there's no upfront cost for that step, no upfront cost. And then they'll pay a performance fee afterwards. And we split that performance fee with you as an affiliate. I think you know that. So that is how that works. Other questions that any of you have? All right, Sam's asking about marketing best practices. Well, we have an affiliate manager, Charlotte, and she can certainly work with you. Where we found some of our best success is Facebook ads have worked really well. We did a beta test last week on Google ads, and I reported this back, but we did a Google ad for 24 hours, one day. It was a week ago this past Saturday. So we tested it for one day. And in one day, we spent $33 for ad spend for transparency. So it wasn't free, but it was $33 and some change. So let's say $34 we spent for a one day Google ad spend. From that, we had 1,316 impressions, which is great exposure for a one day period. And we enrolled 136 clients, approximately 10%. So that's what's wonderful here. You don't have to convince someone that they need money to start or grow a business. They know that. But what we do need to educate them on is you can't just want money. You can't just need money. We need to be fundable. But guess what? Now we've made it so simple, right? We show them step by step what we're going to do, and then we're going to do it. If they want funding, we guarantee that it'll work. And while there is a refundable deposit, they get it back. I was talking to a lady yesterday. I was driving back from a chamber meeting, and I returned her call, and she thought it was no upfront cost. She was really interested if it was no upfront cost, but when she heard it was 1,000, it's like, oh, I don't know. She lacks the solvency. She doesn't have $1,000. Well, I don't know that someone that is completely void of money should be starting a business, because there's cost of forming and operating a business. Now, we can provide more value than what the client pays. They're not having to hire someone to develop a business plan. They don't have to go pay for an address. They don't have to go pay the Secretary of State. They don't have to go put their own collateral on. They don't have to pay someone to do the loan packaging. So, I mean, this is cheaper than them doing it on their own, but it's not free. But forming and running a business isn't free. Now, if someone wants to participate, but they don't have $1,000, what we'd normally say is, hey, no problem, become an affiliate, right? Help us educate, help us spread the word. Affiliates get paid upfront every time someone enrolls in the 4-week program. Plus, affiliates make 5% of the client's capital raise, which if the client wants funding assistance, we make that available, just as you all are plugged into now. And with that, they will be guaranteed a minimum of $100,000 capital raise, and we charge a 10% performance fee, or our strategic partner does. And that 10% performance fee is split 50-50 with you. So you know you're going to make at least 5 points for every client that comes through that wants to do the funding. Even if they don't want to do the funding, if they just want to stop with the 4 weeks, you're still getting paid. All right, Todd's asking about the white label partner. So that's right. So we have the affiliate program, which is really our bread and butter, but we've had a handful of you, like maybe Todd, that has come to us and said, hey, I want to make more, but I want to control it. I want my own branding, want my own website. And so we did launch a white label partner role. So that is separate and distinct. If you're interested in that, let us know. But in general, I think most people will be well served as an affiliate, because white label partners make more, but they're doing more work, whereby as an affiliate, you refer in and get paid. All right, so who has questions on what we're doing, why we're doing it, how you benefit? What else is there that we need to cover today before we break? So landing pages, yes, as we covered yesterday, there's a new landing page for the 4-week business funding program. If you're an affiliate with us, you can have that landing page. No, you don't have to pay anything. It's not an extra cost. We just add an addendum to your affiliate agreement that says that, yes, you want to offer the 4-week business funding program, because it wasn't in the original affiliate agreement, but no cost. And so we have you sign that addendum, and then we can go build out your landing page, and then you can drive into it. That's fine. But I can tell you, some of you are using your original landing page, which is for the funding proposal, no upfront cost, attracting prospects. Then we have their application we can look at and see, because that application essentially pre-qualifies them for what you and I are doing here, right? Because when they submit that application, we can look at the top half of the application, and we won't really know if they have a business plan or not, but we can tell, do they have an entity formed? Because some of them are pre-formation, so that would immediately qualify them for that. We can see how their business is cash flowing currently and see if it looks like it has a solvency issue, so we can solve that. We can't immediately determine just from the application how their balance sheet looks, but we can infer that most clients don't have adequate collateral, and obviously they're in the market for funding. So it's fine if you want to start with the free funding proposal, and then once they fill out an app, we can pre-qualify them for this. Or you could start with this, and then we can take them through the 4-week curriculum. And then at that point, if they want funding, then they can go ahead and go through your app at that time. So it works either way. All right, Michael's asking, using brokers' denials, which is a great strategy. Let's just we'll go with merchant cash advances, which we don't do, so don't misinterpret, but there's a lot of money flowing through MCAs out there. So Michael, could you go to an MCA, merchant cash advance broker, educate them on what we do, and ask for their denials? I think you could, because they've already spent the money marketing or buying those leads, and they're not able to help them. That's why they're called a denial. So what you could then do is offer them a couple things. Number one, if they want a revenue share with them, you could revenue share with them, whether it be the money you make on the front end or money you make off the back end. Or what their primary focus may be is just you fixing the client, us fixing the client so they become fundable, and getting them back, getting the client back to the referral partner to go get funding with the referral partner. So frankly, you just have to ask that question, Michael. You could educate them on how it works and let them know there's two options, right? Once we have built out a fundable business, which takes 4 weeks, less than a month, we can take them to funding, and you can do a revenue share with your referral partner or partners, or we can refer them back to the referral partner for funding. Hopefully that makes sense, Michael. Great question, though. Because each of you are running a business, right? Even if it's an affiliate or a white label partner, you're running a business. And so if you want to have referral partners or pay for marketing, like I used the example of $34 for Google Ads, you can do that. That comes out of your profit, right? Because you're running your own business. So that is up to you. Again, white label partners make a lot more, but they're doing more. And then they have individualized branding. So I think most of you that want to do this on a large scale will probably go with the white label partner approach, whereby those of you that see this more as just a side income, I think the affiliate would probably be the best bet. But you have the flexibility to go either way. If you're a white label partner, you have your own landing page. It looks a little bit different than this, but the concept's the same. It's branded to you, and then it actually has the terms and conditions built in and payment right there, so people can actually sign up and pay on your website. Whereby if you're an affiliate, you'll have a landing page that you'll circulate, and then that landing page collects basic information, first name, last name, email, phone, puts them in the sales funnel, and then we do a drip marketing campaign to them to enroll. When they do enroll, then of course you're credited with that lead. All right, great questions. Anyone else have any questions, comments, concerns? So this is a new grant subsidized program that helps create fundable businesses. And anyone that doesn't think that that's relevant, they don't know. You need to educate them, because we don't get funding for businesses unless we have a fundable business. Well, what does it take to have a fundable business? We've essentially broken it down into 4 pieces. So not only do we tell them what's needed, we show them how we can help. Yes, there's a little embedded 5 to 6 minute video here as well that you're welcome to use. All right. Well, come back tomorrow. We'll have a similar discussion, but bring a prospective client. This is a great spot for you to bring a safe spot, if you will, to bring prospective clients so we can help you educate them on how the program works, why it exists, answer their questions. Then you can get them enrolled and you get paid. And if they want to become an affiliate too, that's okay. We're not MLM, not network marketing, but we do have a master affiliate role where you can be a master affiliate at no cost. These other folks can be affiliates and you get overrides. You're not competing with them. All right. Well, thanks, everyone. We'll see you back tomorrow morning. Let us know if you have any questions or need any help. Bye-bye.